Bryan Recker here with Biosphere Drones. I've been doing it for a year and a half. We also sell service drones as well too, and then we also applicate as well too. I guess as far as kind of going into the part of it with a drone anyway. So we do the DJI drones and stuff like that. The biggest thing that we've been noticing on the drone side and stuff like that would be number one, what the capacity is to carry as far as cover crop goes and stuff. So as far as the drone on the DJI side, we are able to carry 2 bushel. And then from there, we actually tell everybody to calibrate from there, calibrate the drone out. And there's steps that we have them go through to calibrate it out to make sure that you're getting the right pounds per acre. One thing we have noticed with the drone is how much sooner people are able to get out there and start putting the cover crop on sooner. So that way, we're noticing a lot of guys that August 15th is kind of what they're starting to do, get out there sooner, get some growth going in that through the canopy and stuff. So that way, when the time comes to harvest corn, beans, whatever, they're able to see some growth. And then another reason that the drone seems to be a pretty good thing with, especially the DJI drone that we use, as we have 4 props per arm, so that way it actually pushes it down past the canopy as well too. So helps drives the seed down in there a little bit more. You're able to draw out fields, set up maps, kind of, like I said, do whatever you kind of need to do as far as making sure that you have the right coverage going on, making sure that you're able to see everything. There's a camera involved as well too. So that way, if you do have any spots that are out there that you're not seeing on a normal time, you're able to see that as well too. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I got right now anyway.
Yeah, no worries. Bryan, I guess one thing is, how have you seen the growth of drones being used for farming? Like, I remember when they first came out, it was just kind of like, oh, this is a nice toy and everything kind of cool. Now it's been like, you can't go like without a conference or a fair or whatever without seeing, seems like 4 or 5, 6 drone companies or people just selling drones for farming specifically. Can you expand on that?
Yeah. So, and it's funny you say that. I've had different people ask me that question as well too. One thing that we have noticed, just looking at last year, I would say it was probably that 50-50 was farmer versus people doing out there doing custom work. One thing we have noticed this year, I would say it's a big shift now. It's probably 60-40, where it's probably 40% is custom, 60% of the farmers now that are getting into it. They're seeing a big benefit to it, not just putting cover crop on, but also applying fungicide, applying, foliar feeds. I mean, it has been taken off more and more. It's really, really grown. And not only that, but it's also another way for a lot of younger farmers to be able to come back to the farm and, contribute. And not only that, but to be able to bring some more cash flow into their operation as well too.
All right. Yeah. What species are you recommending for a drone? I know it's being there's a size limitation and everything. And I was wondering on that as well.
I mean, really, we have people putting on everything: rye, oats, radishes, alfalfa. I had a guy call me the other day trying to set it up to put on fetch. I mean, it's whatever you want to put on, we can do, because we can actually go through there and we can set it so that way that the gate opens the proper way, so you're getting the proper coverage and the proper amount out as well too.
All right, thank you. And then also, can you share about the project in Dubuque County and how many farms participate and how to see the cover crops in the 2nd and 3rd year? I can repeat that after you. So basically, start off with, can you share about the project in Dubuque County in Iowa?
Yeah. So the Dubuque County cover crop last year was every farmer signed up. They were looking for 10,000 acres, and I think they got close to 9,800 acres. And you got to pick from different things that you wanted, whatever you want to put on, winter kill, 4 different things you wanted to pick from. So from there, for the farmer, it did not cost the farmer anything for them to put it on. And then they also got the application done with a drone as well too. So all that 9,800 acres was put on with drones. Going out there with the guys that were doing it, us talking to all the farmers that we possibly could, everybody was very happy with the timing on it. Everybody enjoyed it. They liked it. Unfortunately, we didn't get any rain, so we didn't get to see a lot of really good, growth and stuff. But it this year they were shooting for, I think it was 20,000 acres. There was a little bit of a cost share in that. I think they got to 16,500. Same thing. I think you paid $10 an acre. Then you got the seed, and then they got the drone application as well too. They're hoping that next year they want to expand that outside of Dubuque County. They want to get about 6 other counties surrounding Dubuque County to go onto this, and talking to the other surrounding counties and stuff, they are really ready for this. They see the benefit of going out there in that August 15th timeframe, August 1st, August 15th timeframe, to putting it on, getting a good growth going.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. What who funded this project?
I think it was part of the NRCS, and it was Sand County as well too. They helped fund it.
Mm-hmm. All right. What I guess here another question I had here, trying to grab, lost me for a sec, is I guess what's some of the like, I would say kind of what are some of the biggest challenge you have when seeding cover crops with a drone that you just don't think about? Like, we talked about seed size, and what's some stuff that you talk to people and like they're surprised, like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So what are some of those?
The biggest challenge is making sure that they were able to get to the field. I mean, there's a lot of the places in Dubuque County that we were trying to fly up and over trees that were 30, 40 foot tall. And, that was a big challenge, making sure we're having line of sight between the controller, the relay, and the drone as well too, to make sure that it could continue to spread and not pause or come back home. That was probably our biggest challenge. And then the next thing was just getting to a lot of the fields was a lot of it as well. But on the drone side of it, like I said, a lot of it was making sure that we could keep connection between the drone, the controller, and the relay. That was our biggest thing. That was the worst. We did have a few guys that went out, and beans were ready to go, and there was no coverage on with a drone yet. So it was kind of nice. We got to go out there after the beans were off and spread seed, and able to actually see the seed hitting the ground, looking at it, watching what it did. And out of that farm particularly did catch a little bit of a rain, not a lot, mm-hmm. but how fast it did come up, and knowing that the seed was put on there was probably, going a different way, but that was probably really nice to see. The coverage was there, and the job that it was actually able to do with getting, a little bit of moisture anyway.
That's very good to hear. So, how do you see, I know we kind of touched base, like the future going for drone seeding. Do you see it, for covering, do you see it expanding, or what's something that you see here in the next 2, 5, 10 years from now when it comes to seeding cover crops, or just crops in general with the drone, that you're looking forward to or excited about?
We are seeing a huge growth. When we first got into this, it was just mainly fungicide, foliar feeds, anything liquid. Lately, it has really been more and more people calling. I mean, it was never one of those things where we were ever going to go and seed down an alfalfa field. And now we have people calling, hey, it's wet. Can you get out here? Can you start seeding down sooner? So, I mean, there's been a huge growth as far as that goes. It's more and more people are wanting to put cover crops on, a lot of the cattle farmers wanting to graze it off, chop it, whatever. So they want to get it out there sooner. And a lot of guys we have noticed as well too are also wanting to putting it on sooner. So when they chop, there's good growth there. So as far as that goes, I mean, I've got guys that just don't want to do anything other than cover crop, do this, do that. they have really taken it off. And like I said, we never thought we would be seeding down alfalfa fields because, you get in there with a drill and, the seed to soil contact is better. But we did a little test spot on 10 acres and we cannot believe the growth that it did on that. I mean, it was absolutely amazing on what it did. We had different people come by that didn't know that we had done it and they thought we drilled it. Nope. I showed them the video. Every bit of this was put on with a drone. I said, it is amazing what you can do with these now.
That's crazy. I didn't even dawn on me, like alfalfa or stuff like that. Like just seeing it, like, and that's we've had that issue. Was it last year or something? Like just fields just being too wet. There wasn't any time to get out there. You only have that two days and everything. You gotta do everything. So yeah, that is pretty cool.
And that's where, I mean, it's amazing how good of a job that it did as well too. Everybody says, well, you're just sprinkling seed out there and, you hope you get seed to soil contact. And it amazes me to how good of a job that it did. Not only that, but the seed was there and you could see it. We put in strips, hey, this is just going to be alfalfa. This is just going to be rye. You could see it right to the line where we drew the line to make up the field, to make up the maps. And it's amazing the job that it did. And not only that, but following right to the line.
Yeah, and that's, I suppose, and then as technology gets better, seeds is be more efficient with the drones, carry more, fly further away from. Still, I know I did have to take my previous position. I did take had to become a certified drone pilot and everything. So I did the tests and everything. You still have to keep line of sight, but just even though you can see it, this, as you mentioned before, that it's the line of sight, but steadily increasing that. I bet you that's kind of it's getting exciting as well.
And not only that, but I mean, the tanks are going to get bigger as well too. And I mean, right now we're flying out 3/4 to a mile. So I mean, you're covering, you're covering an area pretty good.
So yeah, and then kind of just to build on that, do you ever what's the average cost for it to run and everything? Or do you know different costs? Because I bet you can get somewhere belt with all the bells and whistles. There's the plain just DJI one.
So like just a plain DJI, just the drone itself and a controller, you're looking in that 18.9 range. But everything that you would need essentially to more or less get up and flying with 4 batteries, the relay, the charger, controller batteries and everything as far as that goes. And without a generator, you're in that 34 to 35 range, and most guys are picking up a generator for that 8,000 to 9,000 range.
So yeah, then it just kind of goes up there if you want one, the kind of the bigger ones that would do kind of the cover crop seeding and everything like that. And then kind of a follow up in here. And I had, do you ever see like whatever cap out like on size and capacity on that? Because we
were just talking about that actually the other day, having conversation with different people that are, custom applicators as well too. And we were talking about that. Where is this going to go? I mean, you talk to some people, 2 bushel, I said, well, you're covering quite a bit with 2 bushel, depending on what you're putting on per pound wise. But, now I know there's a couple out there that are in the process of coming in, to the market that I think they're going to be in that 4 to 4.5 bushel range. So I guess we all know someday it's going to tap, it's going to cap out somewhere because the battery's not going to be able to carry and everything else. But here you are now, we thinking 2 bushel was pretty good. You're going to get quite a bit done. Now we're coming out with a 4 to 4.5 bushel. So I don't know how much bigger it's going to go, but I'm sure sooner or later there's going to be a limit.
Because because there's all that, being, like I said, when I took the testers, you have to understand the zones, how far and we fly. Then there's probably you have to make sure you're not too tall, too big and everything, and then you're almost a size of like basically a small applicator plane and everything like that. So kind of to expand on that, Michael from Eastern Texas, he had he said Afligard spread on his organic cornfields. And with a large drone, it seemed to work well. The cost per acre ended up being less than an airplane. I think provided more consistent spread. And and everything, but it did take more time than a plane, but it worked well. Do you see that kind of be as a hindrance
Oh,
that time
there's
is probably the
yeah.
biggest thing that's gonna one of the downsides of cover cropping with the drone?
There's no doubt. I mean, and you're having to handle the seed more as well too.
Hmm.
That's our biggest thing right now. Everybody's trying to figure out what is the best way to handle the seed. A lot of guys, unfortunately, are having to bucket it. Some guys have figured out a way to make up some vacuum systems, but unfortunately, we're finding out that that doesn't work as well either because we're starting to create a little bit of a static when the drone
Hmm.
lands on the trailer. So that way, we've seen some issues with that. With drones being all battery and electronics and everything else, static and that don't go together very well. So yeah, as far as that goes, it's definitely time and it's more work. It's labor, but not taking out the human life in it. With the plane, there's a human in there, and that's one
Hmm.
thing I guess. Drones go down. There's no doubt about it. They go down. Planes,
Hmm.
helicopters go down. But as far as that goes, you look at that. A drone goes down, you fix it, off you go again. Unfortunately, a plane, helicopter goes down. It's a totally different conversation we're having then. So
Yep.
as
Mhm.
that goes, I think that's where the drones are going to continue to evolve and get bigger. And not only that, but I think more and more farms, custom guys are going to also want to include the drone on their operation.
Mhm. I guess, yeah, that kind of reminded me when you said a stack. I heard that like if you said that seed weight is also an issue. You don't want seed that's too light because it affects the I heard it affects the germination of the seed because the propellers actually kind of pick it up and kind of or shatter it a little bit. Can you kind of have you heard that or could you
So
expand on that?
on different drones, yes, I have heard that, and that is where I guess we do the DJIs because that way
Mhm.
you do have the top and the bottom props, and we are not noticing that as much just
Okay.
because the bottom ones are pushing the seed down and not creating more or less a vacuum where it's doing
Hmm.
that. Yes, we have had some stuff that was really light, fluffy hulls and stuff like that, and yeah, you could definitely tell that that wasn't. It stayed in the air longer. It wasn't able to push it down just because it was lighter, but
Hmm.
as far as everything else that we've been applying, we've had very good success with it.
And then what Bruce was wondering what volume of seed are you usually spreading for a cover crop per acre?
And that all just depends on what you're doing. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, whatever pounds per acre that you want to do, essentially. Some guys last year want to do 84, some guys want to do 60. I mean, it is truly whatever you want to do. There is no, every place we go is totally different. Everybody's got a different seed mix or this or
Hmm.
that or how much they want. So as far as that goes, that you can pretty much set it however you want, as heavy or light as you want.
And I know we kind of specifically asked on like cover crop, but kind of I guess if we people who are all interested in doing stuff, is there any other applications you see here in the future that I know that drones can do? I know there's been a lot of work been done with stand counts and taking plant health stuff. Do you see any, is that as another benefit to investing with drones or employing a company like yourself that has drones?
I mean, they're coming out with more all the time. I mean, between now they have the thermal. I mean, people are going out doing weed identification here pretty soon. So you actually go out there, fly over. It'll scan out how far as high as you go. It'll scan out. It'll give you weed detection. It'll tell you what your weed pressure is. What's going on. Like one guy, he's gonna have me put cover crop on. I think he was thinking August 5th or 6th, and he wants to go
Mhm.
back up with a smaller drone and take a full map picture of it so that he can see, what the growth looks like at this stage with this rain, with this, and none of that, but be able to see where he is as well too, looking at his corn and stuff. So it's amazing where they've come from just to flying them in your house to hitting the ceiling to now we're out identifying weeds, we're spot spraying, we're fungus. I mean, it's like everything, I guess. What's the next thing to come?
Yeah, and it's probably we can't even think of it right now because it's just been it's just the way that this is going and everything. It's just moving fast, and it's just probably don't even realize it yet. Because I always think of my grandpa and everything. He grew up when working in the field and planting with with a horse and everything and mules, and now before he passed, he didn't have to drive it. Now I don't even think I could tell him that you don't have a drone that you pilot like a video game could actually do the work for you. I don't think he could believe that. So it's just insane how things like this kind of change.
Well, it's even amazing on that as well too. I mean, you're not even flying the drone. It's all AI. You map it out, you set off what you want, and you more or less set the controller down and off it goes. It does its thing. Tank's empty, whatever. It knows it, comes home, change battery, refill, and send it off again. I mean, so you're essentially in one flight, you're hitting two buttons, manual land, or I'm sorry, auto land, and take off and go again. So it's amazing what that's doing.